The bride who asked the wrong question. On what the wound requires. A bride on the day of her wedding asked her groom a question. She had a wound. She had carried it since she was a child. It was an old wound in a place no one but she could see, and it had never closed. It bled in small ways, intermittently throughout her life. When she had been alone in childhood, she had thought all wounds were like this. When she had become a woman and seen the smoothness of other women's lives, she had grown ashamed of hers. She had hidden it. She had hoped it would close on its own. It had not. She had decided in the year before her wedding that her marriage would close it. She had told herself, "A man who loves me will heal this. That is what love is. It is what husbands are for." On the day of the wedding, in the small room where they were preparing the vows, she took her groom's hand. "Will you save me from my wound?" she said. He looked at her with his bright, untroubled eyes. "Yes," he said. She married him. The wound did not close. It bled that first night after the wedding, while she lay beside him in the dark. He was asleep. He had said yes. She did not understand why the wound had not heard. She waited a year. The wound continued to bleed. In the second year, she sat with him by the fire one evening and she said, "Husband, will you take my wound from me? I gave it to you a year ago and you said yes. The wound is still here. Take it, please." He looked confused. He had not understood on the day of the wedding that he had been asked to take a wound. He had thought he had been asked to love her. He had loved her. He had been a good husband. He did not know what she meant by take it. "Yes," he said, because he was a good husband, and yes was what good husbands said. The wound continued to bleed. In the fifth year, she said, "Husband, will you carry my wound for me, just for a season, just so I can rest, please?" "Yes," he said. The wound continued to bleed. In the seventh year, in the second week of their 7th anniversary, she sat with him by the fire again. She had been thinking all that year about her question. She had been thinking that the question had been wrong. She had been thinking she might have asked the wrong question for 7 years. She tried a different question. "Husband," she said, "will you bleed beside me without trying to heal me?" He sat with the question. He did not say yes immediately. He looked for the first time at the wound. He had not in 7 years looked at it. He had told himself he could love her without needing to see it. He had been wrong about this. He looked now. The wound was old. It was not a wound a husband could close. It was older than the marriage. It was older, possibly, than she was. It was, he understood, in some sense, what she was made of. To heal it would be to heal her into not existing. He had not understood before what she had been asking him to do. "Yes," he said, this time differently. "I will bleed beside you. I will not try to heal you. I will sit. I will know it is there. I will not pretend. I will not look away. I cannot promise it will close. I do not think it will close. I can promise I will be here." She wept. The wound spoke. It had never spoken before. She had been ashamed of it for so long that she had not noticed it could speak. It spoke now, in a voice that was very young and very tired. "I have been waiting," said the wound, "for someone to ask the right question. The first 2 questions were the wrong question. They asked for me to be removed. I cannot be removed. I am part of her. I am what she had to become when the thing happened to her in childhood. The third question is the right question. She is asking for a witness. A witness is what a wound needs. The wound does not close. It is not meant to close. It is meant to be witnessed. I am tired of bleeding without a witness. I am tired of being the only one who knew I was here. Thank you for looking at me. I will be quieter now." The wound bled less after that, but it did not close. She did not need it to close. He sat beside her for the rest of their long marriage, knowing the wound was there. When it bled, he did not look away. He did not try to heal it. He brought a cloth and stayed in the room. She did not have to be ashamed. The wound had its witness. It quieted. It was, by the end of her life, a thin, pale line, still visible, no longer leaking, no longer a thing she carried alone. The marriage was not what she had thought it would be on the day of the wedding. It was much better. The wound does not require healing. It requires witnessing. The first 2 questions a bride asks her groom are usually the wrong questions. "Take it from me, heal it for me." The right question is, You bleed beside me without trying to heal me. It takes 7 years to find the right question. Most marriages end before then. The ones that do not become real after the 7th year.